Hey, what's up guys? We're here on the Queen and the Crone. It's going to be myself fielding the Crone and her Dark Elves in front of me against Indypride facing off against me with, well, the Queen in this case Alarielle. So she is here radiant as ever, coming forward with her little butterflies. And it's going to be an interesting matchup here. We're going to be showing off a lot of the new units. So let's go ahead and start with my deployment. So my front line, instead of going too much in terms of the I would say melee infantry, I've gotten more of a sturdy backbone of spears sprinkled around. So in the front line here, it's going to be alternating Dread Spears and Blackguard of Naggarot in the front. And then I also have this new Hellebronite Dread Spears, which are great to put in the center because they have poison attacks. So if the melee gets kind of confused, these guys can help kind of debuff perhaps 2 units or 3 units up through the front if you spam attack orders. So they're pretty good to just cause a ruckus and a mess in the center. And then of course they do look very nice. I always like how all these unique factions do get a nice new reskin as well, a fresh painted coat. So again, another unit of Dread Spears, and they're just meant here to hold the front and allow my perhaps my flanks to do work. I do have a single Blackheart Corsair here. Again, standard unit that we've seen previously. But I'm going to be holding some of my more important units a little bit off in the back. So these are going to be Sisters of Slaughter. So we've seen these before in previous videos that CA did show. But their main benefit is that they have these nasty spears with, or not spears, whips. Spikes on them. I don't think they show up here, but they're supposed to. I guess at the end they do. But anyways, they have pretty good stats. They're a little bit squishy in the sense that, well, obviously there's not much armor here. But yeah, they'll imbue poison, and I believe one of their attacks, yeah, they'll have some armor piercing on them. They can cause fear, and they have physical resistance to make up for the fact that they don't have armor, but that physical resistance is due to them having this dodge here. So pretty good units that you'll be seeing this faction bring a fair amount of times in battle. But again, you gotta be a little bit scared of the enemy who has bows. So that's why I have them in the back. To reinforce my line, I have obviously Crone Hellebron in the rear here with a whole bunch of stuff topped onto her. Blood Frenzy, she can pop in various stages. The Cursed Blade to do a lot of damage to units around her. She has Heroic Killing Blow, she wants to finish off an enemy. And then she has Gaze of Cain here, which can do a lot of bonuses to your guys, but causes them to rampage. So it's nice to kind of stick at maybe a Corsair unit once it's already in melee. The 2 other units that I have, at least in the center, are going to be first this Bolt Fiends, the Dark Shards with shields. These guys are again going to be very useful that you want to supplement if you have a fair amount of Dark Shards or even anything else ranged. The reason for that is because they have the, I don't believe it's Armor Sundering, but it's going to be the Shield Breaking one. Yeah, Shield Breaker there. So it reduces missile parry, etc. So if you're going to be targeting stuff up front, anything kind of scary, a shield wall or infantry, anything with shields, these will be really, really good. And of course, bringing Dark Shards with their own shields means that they can trade pretty well against enemy bows, which I was expecting for sure. So that is this main line pushing up. I do, as always, have a bit of a flank going on. And one of the new units that's going to be bridging the 2 areas are going to be these Raven Heralds. So they're repeater crossbowmen mounted on these Dark Pegasi. Let's go ahead and zoom in on them so you can see them. They look very, very cool. Looking dope. So we'll see how they play out. But yeah, they're going to be pretty good for rapid response here. They have armor-piercing missiles, and so they're going to be perfect for hunting down things like Dragon Princes, or at least forcing them away from my flanks. So these guys are going to be good to shark around the rear lines until the enemy archers have been dispatched, and then perhaps they could even charge in into melee there. On the right flank, I'm pushing up with another Dark Shard unit with shields and a Dread Spear unit as well. Again, just to probe the flank, and force Indy into position where I can then engage where I want to with this main front. I also have another hidden unit over here, which is going to be another one of these new ones, the Doomfire Warlocks. So these are going to be mounted on these awesome horses. There's a Slaneshi version that is even more powerful, but even the base variant are going to be seeing played a lot. You can see that one in the back licking his sword. So they're definitely very vicious units, and they do come with well, very fast speed. So they're light cav that can hit pretty hard as well, mostly due to the fact that they do poison and magical damage with their attacks. And then take a look at these 2 bound spells. They have Soul Blight, which will decrease armor and weapon damage, and then they have Lesser Doombolt ×2, good against armor. So, you know, they'll use the Doombolt against pursuing cav, and then when the time is right, then they can do a hex on them, countercharge, and get magical and poison damage. So they can shred your cavalry. So they're pretty powerful here, and because of their speed, I'm going to be able to try and use them to zone out these Sisters of Avelorn. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Indy has brought to the field. So he has brought Alarielle. And one of her benefits is that she does infuse the High Elf roster with some Wood Elf units, and you'll be seeing Indy take advantage of that with these flanking Dryad forces. pretty good choice against the Dark Elves in the sense that you do need just some fodder units that can just do, that are damage dealers to soak it up in the front lines. Although they are weak against armor, so in a sustained combat against some of the more elite units, you gotta be a little bit scared. But in his front lines, he does have 2 of these Sisters of Avelorn who are going to be unleashing. So they have armor-piercing melee. They're going to be some of the better new archer units. And so yeah, here you can see them notching their bows with the magical bows. I'm not sure if those are ethereal or real or what's the lore behind those, but they look freaking dope. So there you go. They're going to be unloading, and take a look at these lasers flying up over and hitting my guys. But the shields here are going to carry a lot of weight in this sense, where I would have thought he'd be shredding my unit. But that shield just doing a lot of benefits to me. So he takes a little bit of a chunk, but not very much. So, that was like perhaps 2-3 volleys between 2 units, and it didn't really do that much damage. So that's going to force Indy back, especially with 2 of my units coming in here. So the rest of his forces, what does he have? Well, in the center, he has the Scions of Mainline spearmen that have the, I believe it's the Encourage aura. Yeah, no, I'm clicking on the wrong one. Let's see. I can't get it, but anyways, I believe they have the Encourage aura, which helps physical resistance and other things for your units. So they're good mainline buffers. So he has 2 Dryads, then he has Phoenix Guard behind, and a Swordmaster of Hoeth with Alarielle on the rear. And then on the flank, he has a new Dragon Prince force, the Fireborn here, obviously dealing fire damage and having some increased stats across the line. Pretty awesome units, looking glorious, and we saw a fair amount of their play in the tournament that Turin was hosting. So that's pretty dope. And he has yet another one hidden around the flank here. And these regular Dragon Princes are garbed in green, the colors of Alarielle, also looking very nice with the reskins as well. So let's put this on play now that we've kind of seen the different units. And one last thing that I did want to point out is that I did bring a K-Knight Assassin. I don't really see these played too often, but I figured it'd be interesting just because, maybe I want to tie down an enemy lord or pursue an enemy lord, but it has some good advantages in that it has this little, I can't click on it, but anyways, it has a breath spell that's bound to this K-Knight Assassin. So I was figuring get him in the lines, and just once my main line here with the spears is engaged, just get a breath spell right through the front and really disrupt the enemy. So that's what my assassin is here to do. And then also perhaps sneak around, tie units down, and single entity units like this are actually pretty surprising in terms of they can draw a fair amount of fire but tank it out in cases, or they can disrupt charges from cavalry. So I kind of like to use them as little blockers in that sense. But here you go, you're going to see an occasion where these Reapers, or the, what were they called again? The Raven Heralds with repeater crossbows. Yeah, they're going to be chasing after these Dragon Princes. Going to be forcing them back quite easily, and this is going to be a really nice way to counter these Dragon Princes. So what you're going to be noticing with the new changes to the Dark Elves is that they have a lot more tools in their toolkit that, yes, they probably had before, but now they're going to have even more choice. I'm going to be pushing forward here. Here comes that Lesser Doombolt. Boom, going to smack and kill one of the Dragon Princes. But anyways, I've been kind of kiting at Indypride with some of my forces, forcing his Fireborn to react while I was getting some peppering shots with my Dark Shards. Meanwhile, the other 2 are going to be aggressively moving forward. I'm somewhat shielded in the sense that I have these 2 cliffs on both sides. So that's going to be really beneficial, and I'm just putting pressure on his archers. He only has 2, whereas I have 3, and again, Dark Shards with shields do seem to be performing very well, and my K-Knight Assassin there leading the charge. That's pretty glorious, and this is exactly where he'd want his Dragon Princes to come in on the flank, but unfortunately they're being chased out by these Raven Heralds. And yeah, here comes this K-Knight Assassin, just threatening, and it's going to be enough to force his guys back. Let's watch it from the Druki side. And one of the things you're going to want to keep an eye on is take a look at my unit over here. They're going to have a Savage spell cast against them. So take a look at this. Giant aerial vortex is going to be just hewing these guys down. So yeah, like I said, these guys can be a thorn in your side. But that spell and the accompanying volleys just did work. No shields to help these guys. They're going to be taken out. So that was pretty awesome. So that is a glorious spell. Probably a lot of winds of magic, but did work on me. So okay, he's limited that threat, but luckily the terrain is to my advantage. So now I have a cliff to ward off those Dragon Princes. Starting to force Indy back into the corner here, and now is where I'm thinking of engaging. Since I lost that cavalry, it's only a matter of time before he sneaks into the back, so what I want to try and do is perhaps try and engage as soon as possible. I'm going to leave a Dread Spear in the rear just to prevent that, you know, the rear charges. But the rest of my guys are going to start to make their way forward. Blackguard of Nagaron are going to start to take a beating here. I do move some of my spears through here to try and perhaps help out, soak out the fire. But it is doing quite the number. So we're given the order from the Juki to advance. Let's see what this looks like. Pretty glorious. Let's get a shot. It's pretty epic. So here comes my K-Knight Assassin coming in here. And like I said, trying to get that breath spell. Doing a decent amount of damage. Not as much as I would have liked, but it's enough to disrupt. And then here come my guys. So the K-Knight Assassin going to be waving right through. Oh my god, he doesn't give a shit for these guys. So yeah, I just told him, make a beeline for the enemy archers and take him out. So he's going to try and suppress them. You know, let's watch my guys reforming here. As we saw, taking a beating. But here we go. We're going to form up and accept the charge. That's pretty dope. And here he comes in the back, trying to come after me with these Dragon Princes. But I get some pretty savage strikes against them. Pulled back my... oh, actually, Crone Hellebron has come in here to prevent them from hitting my units. And then she pops all kinds of murderous abilities on my guys, definitely buffing up the front line. Ridiculousness happening here. We can take a look at some of the stats of my units. Yeah, they're forced to rampage with the Gaze of Cain here. We're doing a fair amount of damage to try and hold out against these Swordmasters. But he's been rebuffed in this sense, and now I'm clear through with the Doomfire Warlocks. They're getting in at the back where the K-Knight Assassin is getting his handiwork, making it known. Tied down his some of his Dragon Princes, but they're still doing work. In any case, I have Archers, Phoenix Guard, and a Dragon Prince all disrupted in the rear, just because of one unit. So again, showing just how useful these are in a distraction run. And my K-Knight Assassin still in the mix, causing all kinds of chaos here. He's going to be doing pretty savage work as well. Let's go ahead and watch some of the front lines where it looks like my units where, yep, there he goes. I saved them a little bit to the archers were out of range, and now these sisters, oh my god, they're wrecking these guys. Look at them run amok. So Sisters of Slaughter are going to be doing great work, and they're going to come and seek out another unit that has a lot of shields for them to just strip away and do a ton of damage. Finally, he's broken my units, and these sisters should be collapsing in on this force. Meanwhile, in the back, Dragon Princes continued to be kind of denied too much damage, although let's take a look at their kills. I think they've done a decent job. 77, so they've been slowly cleaning up some of my Dark Shards, but at this point, the Archers are kind of out of the equation. They're in the back, K-Knight Assassin doing his work, and yeah, they're going to continue to fire into the Sisters of Slaughter, but let's take a look at those. Dealing fairly well. Oh my god, a decapitation with a whip. That is insane. So yeah, these ladies will handle themselves pretty well. But like I said, they can be squishy, so you gotta wait for the right moment, prevent them from getting charged by cavalry. And so yeah, my guys are gonna be, I guess, a willing sacrifice to his cavalry. Swordmaster is gonna trade finally against my line that just had Black Ark Corsairs and Dread Spears, so definitely I had a little less invested in that front. But Indy started to turn things around, thanks to his Dragon Princes ping-ponging around, doing lots of damage. He may be able to strip away all of my Dark Shards. You can see him chasing after them fairly well. But the problem here is that Alarielle is a bit hurt here. She's going to try and cast some spells to help out her forces, but the Crone is going to come out of hiding here. Got a lot of damage done, finished off these Sisters of Avelorn, and she's going to go after her nemesis. Meanwhile, the K-Knight Assassin still, you know, singularly tasked with taking out this unit, and it's a fair trade. I mean, I invested less money in him, and he's completely silencing these sisters, so that's pretty dope. But here she comes, murderous rage following in her trail, and there she goes, Wrath of Cain, getting popped also. Crazy stuff. But where is she? There you go. She's going to be chasing after her. The Queen and the Crone here, the DLC, made one in this little chase scene, and somehow it looks like my steed is quicker than hers. He's desperately trying to seek out some friends on the battlefield, but all she finds are the remains of her army. I've caught up, and take a look at how quickly and how much damage I'm able to do to her. Crone Hellebron a fair amount of beating herself, but you'll notice as she catches up here and starts to get, you know, heroic killing blow, plus 40% armor piercing, plus 40% weapon damage. Take a look at her health. That was one strike, down to almost nothing. Second strike, and she's almost dead, so that's a ridiculous amount of damage there. Let me put this on pause so we can get last little cinematic as they chase each other out here, and that may be the killing blow. There you go, dethroned. We'll catch her by her hair and drag her back to the blood pits. So there you go, finishing blow there, and with that, as the light fades, I think her army will as well. Let's see what she has left. Still some units in the center, holding out against the Sisters of Slaughter, who have 120 kills. That's really, really impressive. And now here comes the surround on the final remaining units. Dragon Princes committed to the end here with some Dryads and other forces, but things are not looking good. So the Druki, definitely very powerful. You gotta be careful with the Dark Elves. Like I said, they've been given a lot more tools in their toolkit. They were already pretty powerful before, now they can just wield it to devastating effects. And yeah, even against a powerful player like Indypride, and in the tournament as well, we saw people fielding the Dark Elves getting a lot of preferential matchups. So I think they're definitely going to be a powerhouse. It may be something that CA takes a look at for tuning down a little bit, especially Hellebron here. I mean, she just tooled the enemy. She may be seeing a debuff, but I can't say it's not fun to play with while it lasts. All the new units are super impressive, and I've been having a ton of fun with it. So let's end this particular replay and take a look at some of the stats across the board, see who did what. So Sisters of Slaughter, 126. This is a unit that I keep saying you'll be seeing repeatedly in multiplayer battles, probably in campaign as well. They'll be very powerful if you can get lots of buffs dropped on them. And the rest of my forces playing as intended. The shield wall here, as you saw, just intended to hold the line and just stand strong. I mean, very cheap investment. 18 here trading against Dryads, Sword Masters, etc. Just chipping away at them, denying the rear attacks of these more expensive Dragon Princes. So that was the name of the game, and they just allowed the killing power to go to some of my more elites. And especially these Dark Shards, always really good. And Indy and myself were pretty surprised to see the Sisters of Avelorn here not play very well against these Dark Shards and other armored units. Yeah, they trashed the Black Art of Nagaron pretty well early on, but just didn't seem to cut it in this engagement. These Raven Heralds with just 9 kills were shut down pretty heavily by a spell and a lot of bow fire, but I still think they're going to be viable in most games. 9 kills and just, you know, they just got 1 or 2 volleys into the Fireborn, etc. Or no, they were just regular Dragon Princes. That still starts to chip away at their health and do a fair amount of damage, so pretty impressed on them. The Caden Assassin seemed to be a worthy investment that round. He went pretty much unmolested, kind of sneaking through the ranks and slicing up as he went. So yeah, this is pretty cool, and I do expect to see more games between myself, Indypride, and others with Avelorn here. It's going to be a very fun faction. I do want to field them myself and see what you can make with the Tree Spirits combined with things like Dragon Princes. It can be pretty potent. Anyways, that's it for this battle. Hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for more, and definitely check out Indypride's channel, where you can see a lot more content from his perspective, and I'm sure a lot of amazing replays on the side. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace out.